Oh, I forget about it. I have kind of a funsy little quick topic I wouldn't mind touching on.
Um,
Just the
Fire away.
music thing. Oh, all right. So,
If it's what I think you're gonna
hey,
say, yeah, okay, yeah. I just go
it's
ahead.
about AI, music, and AI and music.
Okay, okay.
So, a young person that I work with gave me this playlist. Like, hey, I've just found this. You should check it out. And it's AI generated 50s and 60s soul, funk,
Mhm,
R&B covers.
mhm,
And so I was like, okay. I just kind of threw it on with no preconditions. I let it kind of speak for itself, and it was sort of just our background music for the day at work. And damn it if it didn't really fucking slap at times. And now granted, I haven't gone through this with a fine tooth comb, so I can't speak to it on like a really deep sonic level as to how well it's constructed. But just from a layman's like listening to it on the radio while you're doing stuff, like
mhm.
man, sounds really darn good. And it's just some really interesting fucking takes on these songs. Like the arrangements are really cool. I hated how much I liked it.
Mhm.
Was basically the upshot of it, and it reinforces so many of the trepidations that I already have with
Mhm.
AI and its burgeoning capabilities. So like,
Yeah,
it's
in
interesting.
in spaces where it matters for like let's say using AI to look over somebody's medical scans to try to identify
There's
cancer, right? That's
more
awesome.
of that, please.
It's running simulations for uh some sort of
Detecting weather patterns,
hmm,
like using it to like detect and interpret seismic data, all sorts of crazy shit that you
mhm,
can be. It's
mhm.
already showing a lot of value in.
All that stuff is awesome for I as long as I think you've got human control over the overall analysis of the data. I think that
Yeah,
that's important. You have to trust some of these.
trust
You
but
can make
verify. I mean,
well, and you can also use some of the power of an AI that's you know in certain
use
parameters where
the
it's
human
potentially
process
dumber
to
to get what you need out of like scouring big
yeah,
data, which is where it's best, I think.
yeah. And that's
Is
where the
probably
human interplay should come in there is to keep that process being
mhm.
optimally refined towards what we want and not just kind of what it teaches itself that it
But
it
as far
like
as in
continually
it,
optimizing that process and keeping it going in the right direction, I think is it's valuable.
hmm.
Demands a little bit of human input, I would assume. But again, I don't know
I
much
think
about this. So
well, I think as far as construction of things like that are artistic though, like that's where you know if AI takes a space, then we have a greater like a meaningful space in the economy for where artists of any type that's not like got a private jet struggles to get to any sort of level of sustainability. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um and
It's getting it that's one of the things that struck me is like, man, it's really evident why like the Screen Actors Guild and
mhm,
recording industry groups are so adamant about this because like man they can see the writing on the wall here, like they can see what this represents kind of in
mhm.
the way that the CGI possibilities that gave at the time. Like, yeah, you can take the visual of this person and make it look like they're doing whatever. But now, like
Mhm.
the actual creative process of that being eventually subverted, and on top of that, the actor, like it's I don't know, man. I can see it being a very scary place for them, just professionally.
It's a scary place, and in an environment that's already coalesced itself around too many small, uh, like too small a number of companies that own such huge swaths of the media landscape.
Yeah,
It's just another example of taking it out of the hands of the many and putting it into the hands of the few. Because if you if you can do this with an artificial intelligence, what does you know, what do any of these like Paramount, what do they need with writers? What do they need with actors? What do they need
exactly.
with everybody on the crew? It's everybody at a
Mhm.
certain point. Um
Yeah, eventually, I mean, like, why bother with anything physical when you can create a convincing alternative that that requires nothing but
hmm.
fucking data farm.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's like so many of the topics that come up on this and many other shows. It is about about a willing populace. That's what is the deciding factor. Whether that populace is willing because of their ignorance, and so they don't stand in opposition because they're ignorant to something, or because
Oh,
they're placated by the benefits, the short term benefits of something, and eschewing the long term, which I think is sort of what's happening in a lot of cases with AI. But the other thing too is, these
yeah.
AI companies are losing money hand over fist to the point where they desperately, desperately need local and federal economic assistance to be profitable, as far as their access to natural resources, namely water,
Yeah.
but
Water and
also
electricity. Like,
but yeah, to the infrastructure required for these kinds of data farms is so monumentally expensive.
yeah,
Even though it
so,
is so monumentally powerful, the demand put on these things, it does not generate much revenue on its own. So like
yeah.
where's what like the bottom looks like it's falling out of this all the time, but it like cryptocurrency, it could stick around for long enough to be extremely
Well,
deleterious for society.
that's none of the technology when this bubble does burst, the technology doesn't go away. None of that goes away. If anything, it just gets cycled into fewer hands and it moves upward the economic ladder like we were talking. Fewer people
Mhm,
become in control of more and more of it.
mhm,
So it becomes manipulated more by the few than the many.
mhm,
But yeah, the technology is not going anywhere. It's waiting in
mhm,
the wings. A lot of people lost their asses on it, but not the big people at the top
as
that are
usual.
controlling. Yeah. So they keep on. They collect more of the asses of all the little people that got lost. That all cycles upward,
Mhm.
and Peter Thiel gets richer, and Sam Altman get richer, and AI keeps being there, and it keeps doing its thing and growing.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting how there's so many members of the PayPal mafia that are at least adjacent to big artificial intelligence investments and companies. Um,
Mhm.
and the Teals, the Musks, the Larry Summers,
Yeah, that whole
this
crew.
whole it's interesting how close all those
At
people are to
all.
Epstein as well. But I digress. Just like I feel like there has to be there has to be a public response to it. It's a responsibility of the populace, which kind of sucks in a way because that means that
Well, then
artificial
we're
intelligence created art isn't going anywhere because even if most
yeah,
people that
lay
have
down and let it win. Then, if that's the case,
I don't know what else you can do. Like the genie is fucking out of the bottle, man.
yeah,
It's out of the
yeah.
bag, dude. This
I mean,
is
if this bubble bursts in a really big way, it could restrict that a little bit. It could set that back. It's not going to stop it. Nothing's going away, but it could like definitely pump the brakes on that time frame a little bit.
Mhm, mhm. I mean, I've been overly I feel like I might have been overly skeptical of, some things with artificial intelligence in the past, and I think that's mostly because I maybe naively held on to some hope that somebody somewhere would actually make that, like, a part of a larger, like, policy set, the sort of regulation of these kinds of things, but,
That would have been
again,
great.
it's not it's not going anywhere, so the
And
best bet
it's what scares
is
me.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the best bet is to do everything you can to understand it, and also the public should co-opt its use.
Yes, harness it in the best ways possible. That's all we can then hope for at this
Hmm.
point. It's like the internet. It's out. It's there. You're not going to be able to turn it off, and it's going to be destructive. But at least try and get the best out of it you can too.
But I think it leads to things like, listen, if we're going to have big companies with their own kind of artificial intelligence that they're using for certain things, the things that really meaningfully matter, um, we can either use their services for, such as like video generation when we're trying to use it to lampoon maybe the same thing that's happening in our White House, where Donald Trump is using shitty AI generated videos to literally shit on the American public. Um, but also, like, I think as far as like language models and other types of artificial intelligence, a lot of that stuff can be run on like a local home, fairly inexpensive server. Open
Mhm.
source artificial intelligence and a communal sort of a communal set of projects that make this kind of thing available to all people, but it's also like Wikipedia, basically
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Wikipedia
yeah,
with AI, where it is transparent what's happening,
yeah.
how it works, all that stuff is transparent. I feel like that
Mhm.
is kind of you can kind of use that same model to kind
Yeah,
of fight against it in the same way that Wikipedia has actually done a really good job of fighting against uh weird
disinformation.
disinformation
Yeah.
that exists out there. Yeah.
And just the silencing of information. Sometimes
Mhm.
you don't need disinformation if you can just get everyone to collectively forget about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And an organization like that maintaining this information, maintaining all these things, like it keeps it relevant. It doesn't allow people to historically escape consequences, I suppose.
Mhm. Mhm.
What kind of scares me about it is that it performing so incredibly well at things that or have historically been thought to be most within the human domain of intelligence, of thought, the creative process itself. And I would take that one step further because the one that really fucking like shows me that we're kind of cooked here, to borrow the kids' phrase. There's a AI generated lesbian country western song that is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, but it's genuinely fucking hysterical in a very
Mhm.
juvenile, mind you, sort of way, but genuinely fucking funny.
Mhm.
And it's like, because humor to me is really the most just purely subjective and hard to really quantify mechanically as thought processes go.
Is
Like,
the
there's
I
something
would
that's
push
more
back.
like it's more universal about our the various appeals or what constitutes things of a dramatic, exciting, scary, yada yada nature. I think our funny bones are all just a little bit more ill defined, I guess. But
Do you
oh, maybe I'm wrong.
like do you like Jeff Foxworthy's comedy?
Not particularly, no.
If you were to watch an entire hour special of Jeff Foxworthy in his prime, or maybe even just
I have.
afterwards,
I've seen
would
plenty of Jeff Foxworthy's comedy, and honestly, the
did
guy wasn't
did he ever
untalented.
make
He
you
had
laugh?
some good material. Yeah.
Do you feel like it would be possible for somebody to, outside of a strictly artistic space, but more on like a pattern recognition way, craft an hour special of Jeff Foxworthy that could make you laugh?
For the entire hour, goodness no. I mean, I might laugh once or
Not the entire
twice.
hour, but I mean, you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
would that would land with the same rough
a joke or
success
two
rate of
might land.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot
I don't
of
know if I still wouldn't expect at this point. I still wouldn't expect to be able to ask an AI to do that particular thing and do it as well. I mean, yes, be able to do that thing, sure. Make something that is in that same space, so it's not going to have more of an inherent appeal to me. It's going to be equally
I
ambivalent.
I would argue that at some level, finding things funny is human nature. What you find funny can be subjective, but things that are funny can be crafted out of an understanding of conditioning in your culture. Because so often things that are funny
Okay.
are repetition. They're repeated a lot, right? If there's a joke that's funny, the format comes up, such
Yeah, yeah.
as the example that I used before,
Rule of
Jeff
threes in
Foxworthy.
comedy and such.
Well, Jeff Foxworthy's like main shtick. You might be a redneck if, right? And then some
Yeah, yeah.
cliche shit that gets people howling, apparently, right? And
Apparently.
and it doesn't have to be that simplistic for it to still be part of an observable pattern that you can pull out of a massive data set like
True.
like Twitter posts,
True.
like
True.
YouTube videos, like you know what I mean? So I feel like it
These are the key word. Yeah. That's
supplied with enough data, and again that's where the power of artificial intelligence comes from, is it's the coalescence
yeah.
of this big data analysis into some output. And so if you've got enough of the right kinds of input, you could definitely have a quality output if everything in the middle is coherent, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
If so I don't know, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised at the efficacy of these things in some cases. Now, a lot of cases, or maybe even most of them, they spit out shit. But again,
Yes, very much. Like,
repetition, you know.
yeah, again, this one thing being funny was the result of a lot of work by the humans that were making this thing do its thing.
Mhm.
And for everyone that was as amusing as this, there have been many other attempts that are just fucking hot garbage.
Right.
But again, this stuff is still in its absolute infancy too,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
technologically.
For sure.
So, like, if that's where we are now, man, like with the growth curve that you would expect in technologies like that, if you look at it in the kind of Kurzweilian sort of way,
Mhm. Mhm.
like assuming barring something cataclysmic towards this environment, economic cataclysm, whatever, barring that. technology should just, after brief slow period, just go ape shit. Should
Mhm.
hit some bell curve and go cray cray.
Yeah,
But
it's possible there might, and it's also possible that there might be um, some exponentially difficult to reach limit that needs to be crossed before we get into
sure.
an artificial intelligence that is um, something that we look at that's like maybe like truly meaningfully threatening to where like existentially, but short of that you don't need anything much more sophisticated than what we have now to be disruptive to society in extremely weird ways that you maybe wouldn't even expect, but also
Mhm.
in some direct ones when it comes to just creating like fake news, like literally creating
Yeah.
bullshit videos to try to sell some narrative, which is proven effective um,
Yeah.
when it comes to convincing people that Donald Trump could body slam somebody off of a pyramid that was built on top of the White House. Uh, you know,
Oh my
uh,
god, just it still baffles me. It still baffles the fuck out of me.
but yeah, it's frightening. But I think I really do think the primary thing is, yeah, unfortunately, so much of this effort gets offloaded onto us, the people. But we have to be vigilant, and we have to
Mhm.
be on top of recognizing what is and is not fake, and also constantly creating again our own means to co-opt the use of these things to fight against power structures that would use them for their own means, and also regulating those ones that are in the hands of those people in power. um I don't know what else you can do. And as far as how bad it could get,
But
we
why
just
do
kind of
we
have
the
to fucking
populace
watch.
have to be the grown-ups in the room in this scenario? As like always, like in our interactions with the police force around us.
Mm,
Why is it that it's incumbent on the fucking regular civilian in that situation to not escalate things and not the
mhm,
fucking enforcement personnel? Like we hold the regular citizen responsible for knowing the law. We don't treat ignorance as an excuse. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. But we
mhm.
explicitly give police, who are supposedly entrusted with implementing, and we we don't hold them to that same requirement.
Well, it's I mean, that's
Police
the
are
thing. If
not. They have, that's part of their immunity. They are not required, as long as they in good faith believe that the law tells them that what they are doing is right.
mm,
It's really hard to prove wrongdoing in that scenario,
ignorance of the
regardless of
law
how
is
batshit crazy. Ignorance of the law
ignorance.
does work for them.
No, it's not ignorance of the law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, but understanding of the law is. That's how Donald Trump is enabled. That's how, you know what I mean? Like that's how Citizens United became a thing. That's like
Mhm, mhm.
this is understanding the law is an excuse to do egregious and horrible things because you co-opt that law in your own benefit. But ignorance of the law,
Yeah,
that is deadly. That is a horrible crime. Uh
it's yeah,
because it shows that you're
how
part of the
dare you.
if you're not benefiting from
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
its perversion, then
If
you're
you didn't
obviously
know that, you're somebody who shouldn't have known that, so, yeah,
mhm,
get out of here, scum.
mhm.
Yep, I guess that simplifies it, doesn't it?
I feel like it may. You got anything else on AI you'd like to share for the time
No,
being?
no,
It'll be a topic we revisit a lot.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm good for now, yeah. I was curious if you'd heard any of that nonsense and what your thoughts were on it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm really trying to work past my over skepticism of artificial intelligence, um, in certain places because it seems to be the case that even when the market falls out from under it, it's too big to fail. It's too big to stop. It's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
And this idea that I have honestly of if we can't beat them, join them, sort of like unilateral or like universal armament, and as far
Yeah,
as in
yeah.
the AI space goes,
Uh-huh.
is relatively new in my mind, honestly, because I've largely eschewed it, um, but co-opting its use sounds a lot cooler for the
Yeah.
dark fucking Shadowrun dystopia we're about to get into.